Hey, so this is a little video, kind of the third in line almost of a couple of videos I've put out explaining some of the basics about trumpet playing and trying to get trying to get used to doing certain types of practice rather than just getting the trumpet out, doing our scales, and maybe playing a couple of tunes. If you decide to progress with your playing and become more and more advanced, there are loads and loads and loads of method books out there to really help hone your skills and fine tune the abilities that you have. This little video is called An Introduction to Lip Flexibilities. So what are lip flexibilities? Lip flexibilities are how we move around the instrument without using our valves or our tongue, essentially, in terms of accenting the note. The easiest way to describe it, in fact I've shown it to you many times before, would be something along the lines of this. So there you can see, apart from going down to the E, that's just part of that particular exercise, being able to move without having to tongue the note or use valve combinations to get us around is quite important, particularly when we start playing more melodic pieces. And also, lip flexibilities are a fantastic way to help boost our strength and our range and really help with all manner of things like tuning, stamina, yeah, same as strength. And what I wanted to do was try and find a way to describe this as easily as possible through obviously reading PDF, but trying to use language that makes it straightforward to you. Incidentally, if you're not one of my students, thanks for watching, and I should go to try and incorporate the PDF in this video. So initially the PDF that I've created is called An Introduction to Lip Flexibilities, and I kind of assumed or assume that most of my students can play up to a C, but it doesn't really matter because we can tailor it, and I have tailored it before to if you only have access to your top of your range as a G on the stave. So essentially, what I say in the lesson is, when you start on the top C or the G, it doesn't really matter. Allow the upper note to gently fall as the air support decreases. When we start talking about things like air support, we're going to reference things like the diaphragm and how hard we're blowing, etc. And our air speed rather than air volume. As we actually ascend in the trumpet into the extreme upper registers, we actually use it's almost like a smaller, more focused airstream. It's moving a lot faster, and that's essentially what helps the faster vibrations come out of the instrument. And then when we're down at the lower note, it says blow faster air to allow the note to jump up to the upper note. And that's just the kind of push that we're getting from the diaphragm, again, just to try and help the note bounce up or pop up. So what I'll do is I'll demonstrate the top line, which starts in a C and goes down to a G, and then back up to a C a couple of times. So you can hear there that the note actually gets detuned quite a bit. It kind of goes out of tune and starts to get all fluffy, and then it clicks down onto the lower note, onto the G, and kind of the same thing happens as you start to go higher and higher and higher on the pitch, back up to the C. The corners of the mouth aren't really doing a lot, but as you're descending or coming down from the top note, you want to think about just being nice and relaxed there. I've talked about the embouchure and the corners coming into the eye teeth, so you're really just kind of loosening off the grip a little bit and just allowing everything to just gently relax here. Not so much that you fall all the way past that G that you're aiming for, but so that you just kind of land right in it. And then the exact same type of thing, when you're starting to push up, you're just going to push, or just try and think about supporting from your diaphragm just that little bit more, and maybe just giving a tiny wee bit of control here, just to make the corners of the mouth just kind of get their grip back on there. So I'll do a couple more. I'll go down through I don't know, just to the first valve on the B flat. You don't need to use a lot of air. This is about just having a nice full sound. Again, it's what we're always aiming for, and that'll help you also judge when and where the note's going to go, because that nice sound will start to become diffused. That's a good way to describe it, so that the center of the sound starts to disappear. So onto the first valve. So, exact same thing. As you move lower, you'll probably have to do less and less here, because the notes are quite relaxed down there anyway. The embouchure is quite relaxed. In general, that's pretty much the first half of the first part of the note bending. Introduction to Lip Flexibilities. The next couple of sections are designed to increase the movement. So we start on the bottom C, we go to a G, up to a top C and a back down. So this way we're practicing pushing up and pushing up and pushing up. Always try and think about having a nice relaxed grip on the trumpet. When you're pushing through, you want to hear the note get sharper. You know, you can do this. You have to experiment a little bit to get this locked in. But just how much tension you need here, how much you need to blow here. Remember, if the sound's getting really, really ragged, so this can sometimes happen when you're really, really trying to get a note to bend upwards, or to move upwards by itself. Okay, so that was quite forceful there, and the note will gradually jump up by itself, and you're kind of banged into place on that G. We want to kind of take a step back from that, and we want to really, really be in control. We want to know where the tongue moves, how our embouchure moves, and how much support that we need to move around. So the first section of part 2, ideally we want to be sounding like this. And you carry on that chromatically all the way down to the bottom F sharp. And then the next stage of part 2 really was the same as part 1, but we just start a little bit higher, starting up on the E. And if that's out with your register, then that's absolutely fine as well, because all about practice is everything about practice is trying not to strain yourself, trying not to cause any damage when you're practicing, and carry that into the performance arena. So the way that we tailor this, if you do not have your top C, it's still a great thing to get used to in terms of your lip flexibilities. It's just starting a G, and again you're just going from the G down to the C and back up to the G a couple of times. And you carry that just all the way down to your bottom F sharp as well. And from then on, you're free to experiment in terms of moving around the instrument. Most of the standard books now, Tune a Day, Standard of Excellence, I think Tune a Day is a bit old, Accent and Achievement, all these things, they have variations on this. It's a known device, one of the most, I don't have a copy with me, I should have, one of the most well-known books for flexibilities is Dr. Charles Collins' Advanced Lip Flexibilities. Bit of a mouthful. When you look at the book, it can be quite scary. However, the first page I've used loads, and it's very, very similar to what we're doing here. It's just I've kind of like expanded the vocabulary a little bit just to try and make it happen sooner for you. So that's pretty much it, folks. I shall try and get a copy of this PDF into the video. And any questions, pop me a message. Like I said, there'll be a lot of kids, certainly my students, hopefully viewing this video. So if you have got any comments, keep them constructive. And if you want to contact me directly, please do so. Okay, take care, guys. Thanks very much. Bye bye.